Hey, Jackie, how's life?
Hello. All right, thanks. All right. Busy, busy, busy. Um,
Busy as
always busy, but yeah, it's good. Thank you. Yeah. How are you?
likewise. I also, for me, work is worship. But however, on weekends, I do have some spare time. I don't take any classes on weekends, so at that
Mm.
time, I leave the room for doing this kind of productive conversations.
Nice, nice, nice. And how long have you been doing this
Um,
YouTube channel for?
um, like, uh, it's been 5 to 6 months, Jackie. Yeah,
Brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant.
yes. And I'm in the business of teaching English, so I impart the knowledge of English, share the beauty of it with people from different parts of India, working professionals. Furthermore, I'm a yoga trainer also, so I take one class of yoga early in the morning.
Oh, I'm not a morning person.
So, do you like to burn the midnight oil?
I very much am an evening person. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Always always have been, but especially I think being at university, I would not do my work all day. And then
Hmm.
eventually in the evening, I'd get stressed enough that I'd have to do it. So I'd be working from 10 p.m. onwards. And yeah, and then at the BBC, I worked for the late shift for years. So from like
Okay.
1 p.m., not the overnight shift, but the late shift. So 1 p.m. till 11 p.m. So I'm used to that time, if you see what
Solid.
I mean. Mm.
And I would like to tell my viewers that our esteemed guest, Jackie, she is wearing multiple hats. You are author, freelancer, writer, arts practitioner, and journalist. So kindly walk us through this, Jackie. How do you manage all these things?
Yes. So, oh well, how do I manage it all? Badly. It's just, no, my life is a bit like Tetris. It's sort of trying to fit everything together. But I've always liked variety. I've always liked doing different things. I like the fact that I'll be doing something for 1 hour for a day and then I'll suddenly switch to something else. I'm also an ESOL teacher. It's not on my LinkedIn profile, but I am. So I think so. Yeah, a fellow ESOL teacher. Hello.
Great.
Um, Sometimes I forget how many jobs I have actually, but I would say there's some jobs I do more of them than others. So, for example, the journalism. I mean, I worked for the BBC for years, mostly behind the scenes, regional BBC, Look East, mostly behind the scenes, and then I over time did a few packages for packages, which is like news pieces for radio, and a couple for TV, which was very exciting. But that was always a kind of little part of what I did. But now I actually am currently deciding to make it official and doing a journalism course.
Oh,
So despite having done it for years, I just wanted to do the qualification and improve
makes
my
sense. Like
knowledge.
you have all the expertise in that, but just for the sake of a degree, you can call yourself as like a journalist.
Exactly. And I mean, having said that, I'm still learning things. It's still useful. I'm enjoying it. And so in terms of my journalism, recently what I've been doing is actually I've been doing pieces as well as studying. I have to put together a portfolio. So I've been putting out pieces to go in my portfolio, and extra ones. I've got overexcited and doing loads more than I need to. Um, so yeah, I come up with an idea and I try and chip away at it very slowly while I'm doing my other paid work, and then I kind of gradually kind of go, I've done it, right, here's an article out, and manage to do that. And then in terms of writing, can I show you my book? I just.
Sure, sure, why
So
not?
this one's here. This one's done. Writer J.M. Burgoyne. Um,
Okay,
Very exciting. It's a gothic Western horror, randomly. Um,
that's your book.
that's my book. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Published by a local publisher in Norwich, called Story Machine, who are wonderful. They really took on the book in an early stage, actually, and helped me redraft it several times, and very proud of it. So that was published, I think, 3 years ago now, almost, maybe more.
Wow.
Um, but in terms of other books, I'm working again, the same with same as with my journalism, chipping away at things bit by bit. I have about three other novels in progress, which I kind of occasionally do a little bit. And I had recently been far too busy, snowed under with other work.
Wow.
So the writing and even the journalism course had kind of got pushed to one side. Um, but then like actually I've just come back from holiday with my family in Shropshire and my mum, you know how mums do, she was like, have you done any writing, Lisa? No, I've been busy. And and she said to me, right, do what your friend M did. And what my friend M told me to do, sorry, this
Hmm.
is advice M gave me years ago, was write for 12 minutes a day. Because at that time I was also really busy and I was like, I don't have time to write. And she said, look, you've always wanted to be a writer, always wanted to be a writer. You need to make time for it. So we looked at that time, this is about probably 20 years ago by now, at how many hours of work I did a week. And we added it all up because even then I had lots of different jobs. And I think it came to 38 hours or thereabouts. And then she basically went, if you imagine you're doing a 40-hour working week, that leaves you 2 hours. So she divided it by seven. My maths is terrible. I can't remember what the answer was.
Excellent.
Um, and that many of minutes a day, she said, do that a day, do that at least. And I did, and I did it for a month. And I would write for often more than whatever the time was. I think it was about 15 minutes, often more than that. And I got a novella finished, my first novella. Not it's not been published, but I got it finished through doing that. It was the first time I'd actually finished something that was more than a short story. So so yes, so that's how I did that. And so mum recently, she was like, come on, do this again. So that's what I'm currently trying to do again. It's just 12, I think I'm going for 12 minutes a day because I've decided I'm even more busy. So I'm like, 12 a day, let's just try that. Um, when I was writing my novella, after having done it for a month, I wanted freedom from this challenge. So I rebelled and stopped, but I'd done a novella, so I was like, that'll do.
Wow. I think I would consider myself as fortunate person because you got the time for this podcast, so I'm lucky for that.
Oh no, well, thank you for asking me. I love chatting away about all the things I do, so it's loads of fun. Yeah, yeah.
I was wondering, Jackie, like, how do you deal with burnout? Because, hmm,
Yeah, well, yeah, how do I deal with burnout? I mean, this is one of the things actually. I mean, for example, I did volunteer for a long time. I would volunteered with various charities. Um and I did love it. I really, really loved it, but I must confess I burnt out from that. And I stopped and I haven't done it for years. I do a tiny bit of this thing called the good gym where you go for a run. I go for a walk, and then do some gardening for someone or something.
sense, yeah.
Um, but yeah, with the volunteering, I did get completely burnt out, so burnt out that I just didn't come back to. I mean, these days I want to, but I don't know. I think it's the same around the world that it's got a lot more expensive to live. And yeah, and so I these days doing everything I can to just earn money. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm fine. I'm okay. So I'm very, very lucky. But I think at the moment I find it hard as well to make the time when I'm focusing on the earning and trying to do a journalism course. In terms of the work I do at the moment. I mean, I did recently. I mean, because I also tutor in English literature, for example. So GCSEs are coming up in England, and so at the moment I've got I think about 10 or I ought to know about 10 or 11 duties. So I've got them. I've also got my ESOL teaching. I've also got 15 hours a week of youth work. I've got um, occasional museum work where I dress up in costumes and teach kids things. I've got exam papers I write for. So I did just, I mean, I'm sure other people work much more than
Yeah,
me.
sure.
I'm a bit, I get tired quite easily. And so actually I feel quite bad, but a couple of weekends ago, I just felt so tired. I was dizzy
Hmm.
and I just had to cancel some of my tutees. I just said, I'm really sorry. I need to rest. I don't feel well. They were lovely though. They were really understanding. And I felt so bad because obviously their exams are coming up. I felt that pressure, but I just had to rest. And I think it's really hard as well though, because I think at the moment I am earning more money than I need. Like, when you sort of rationally think, I don't need to be saving this much money, but I think it's partly an anxiety response with the costs keep on going up and up and up.
Yeah, yeah, true.
I don't know if you feel that as well, but
Yes, yes, definitely. I can see eye to eye with you, and I'm not sure. Like we all have to work. Like even I work. Like my ass off. I have to do it. I'm like my world revolves around my work. Even on weekends, like you can see that I don't hang out with my friends or anything. I just do something productive. I guess JJ, we both have this thing. So
mm,
yeah, I can completely resonate with you. However, Jackie, whenever you feel like you burn out or something like that and you feel like you want to relax or something, just drop me a message. We can do yoga together. I'm sure it's going to be
oh.
very relaxing for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I need to do that more. I need to make that time. And I think also I remember one time actually when my mental health wasn't brilliant and I found actually that doing yoga really helped because at that time a lot of things were really stressing me out and I couldn't stop thinking about it and I
Mm,
chewing over. And doing yoga, the combination of the relaxation, but also the kind of trying to physically make my body do
yeah.
things that I found difficult, stopped my brain from doing this whirring. And I found
Mm,
it so helpful, really, really helpful. I'm not very good at yoga, but I like trying to do it when I can,
yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
Whenever you feel like on Sunday, we can figure out a time and I'll teach you yoga. Like, because I like to do help people with yoga. And nowadays, that, like
Mm,
you said, the time is, kind of like unstable. So a lot of
yeah.
yoga is the need of the hour.
I really agree. I really agree. And I think also, I feel like, and this is, I don't know, maybe this isn't for other people, but I often feel like for me, my mind and my body get quite divided.
Mm,
Like they're not quite in sync.
true.
It's sort of like
Yeah.
my mind is whipping my body to keep going rather than working with it, if you see what I mean.
Mm,
So I think that sounds very melodramatic, doesn't it? But it's just that I
yeah.
sometimes feel they could be
Correct.
connected a bit better, kind of.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's common nowadays. A lot of people go through this, and it's good thing that people like for us, people who are workaholic, we feel from that this kind of things. But there are people out there in the world who don't give a damn about anything. So
Mm.
they're not concerned about their future. So when we look at them, at that time we feel inspired that at least we are doing something meaningful.
Yeah, it's true. Although I remember one time, because I think it's very good to be driven, but I think you can be too driven. And I remember one time I was doing it was like a well-being sort of, have you heard of CBT, cognitive behavioral
Yeah,
therapy? Anyway, it was
cognitive
doing
therapy.
like a
Brilliant.
course.
Hmm.
And it was some people who were struggling a bit, and it was saying like, oh, one thing was like, how can you deal with your time better? And they said, schedule your time so you can fit in more. I was like, no, I can't. I'm too busy already. I cannot fit more in. And then what they said was they said, make sure you've got some time in the day for work, but also some time for chores, but also some time to rest. I was like, what?
Hmm.
You're allowed to schedule in time to rest? That can't be right. And it felt very nice that Norfolk County Council had permitted me to rest. They said, do it. You can schedule it in. So yeah, I was very excited by that fact. But
Recently,
yeah.
like my mentor gave me the advice that sometimes deliberately try to skip your work because you are too driven, too hardworking. So sometimes you need to chill out, man. We know that life is hard and all that, but if you chill out, your body would be, it would be better and you would get more energy the next day. So sometimes
Mm.
I guess we need to deliberately skip the days off.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, but it's also hard to prioritize it because, for example, I've got three novels I'm working on. They're never done. It's never all my work is done.
Yeah.
My course, I've got like a massive media law textbook to keep working through. I've got revision, I've got sure,
Hmm.
and it's never done. And this was sort of my subconscious feeling was that I can't rest until I've done all the work. And I think it's almost just I've been having to get better at going, no, I need to stop and I need to
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think, yeah, good question about burnout. Very important. Yeah.
Even if you like Jackie, let's assume that you are done with your novels. Like life is such that you will come up with different stuff. Then you will be again thinking about those things.
Oh, always. And I also think if you're, I mean, I hope that most people are like this, but it sounds like you were a bit like me in terms of sort of being excited by the opportunities of life and driven.
Yeah.
And so I'm always coming up with new things to do. I'm like, and now I'm going to learn weaving. And now my friend and I are going to make another podcast. We've already made one on, what
What
was
if
it on? Trauma, dealing with trauma.
okay.
Um, so we've already made one on dealing with trauma. And then recently we made one on, I haven't edited yet. Yeah, I apologized to him recently this morning. I was like, really sorry, I haven't edited. But we've made one about COVID and the long-term impact of COVID, what, just discussing it, chatting it. There's always so much you can do. And I think it's quite exciting the hours you have and what you can do in them. Like I could do
Yeah,
this, I could do this, I
definitely.
could do this, sort of.
You want
Yeah,
to do this thing? Today I was at my relative's place because, as I told you, like I finished. Like this is my third podcast for today. So like after yeah, completion of two podcasts, I quickly went over there to take some dinner. And then I told them that I need to have a podcast with Jacqui, and she's from the
mm,
UK. So I was really excited, So I hurried back to home and I just started my laptop and I was waiting for your message.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
So
Yes, and
if you had told me that you have to wake up, like as today's Saturday weekend, if you told me that you had to wake up and wait for me for till 2 a.m., I would be waiting for you. That's how crazy I am.
really,
Yeah.
oh, it's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I just love this. It's really fun meeting kind of creative and like people as well. Just
Mm.
sort of, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Jackie, like what are the lessons of life that you can share with my viewers?
Oh, lessons of life, wisdom. I can share one thing that I often share with people, which might sound a little bit stupid, but I always used to think that when I grew up, I wouldn't be scared of things I hadn't done before.
Mm.
So, I just thought, oh, I'll grow out of it, kind of thing. And then I think it was something like 21, 22, and I was still scared of going to the train station
Oh.
to take a new train journey that I hadn't done before. And I thought, why haven't I grown out of this yet? Why have I not come on, I'm an adult now. I ought to be over this. Um, and so I just went, well, I'll just have to do it more so I get less scared of it.
Mm.
Um, and I prepare and I, make sure well, at first I prepared and made sure I had time to get, and then these days I just rock up and, because I know how to do it. And in so many things, I've just end up finding like do it if you're scared anyway. Prepare, try and prepare, but you won't not be scared if you never do it. I don't know how if that
Yes.
makes sense, but
Yeah, I guess Plato or some like a Greek philosopher said this that you know the it's a really nice quote. Yeah, courage is salvation. I jotted over there. Courage is salvation.
ah, yeah, I really agree. I really agree. And it's not to say I'm not scared of things, and it's not to say there aren't some things that I,
Hmm.
haven't overcome yet. But at the same time, like I remember as well, like when I was at Look East, one of my first job was auto cue, which was basically twisting a knob to make the words go the right speed for the presenter to read.
Hmm.
And then they asked me to do this thing called PAing, which I called the scary clock job, because it was basically timing the news and it involved doing maths really quickly and using stopwatches. So doing maths in 60s, so not normally maths.
Okay.
Um, and you had to kind of count it. Anyway, it was, and so basically the two things in life I'm worst at are telling the time and maths. And I was like, I
Hmm.
can't do this. I can't do this. And I mean, I will say I was terrified of doing that job
Hmm.
for probably the first year. And I was still always quite scared. But I did it. I learned to do it. I worked hard. I practiced. I can definitely be too hard on myself. Like my poor ex-housemate Nicola, like she was, she worked at the BBC as well, and I'd come home from a shift and be like, Nicola, I got the time wrong by a second, and she was like, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. I was like, just so I think I need to also be slightly less of a perfectionist.
Yes, true. That's
But
true.
I learned to do it, and I actually feel very proud that I, fought my fear and also just learned. It was also the fact that it took a lot of work. And I'm not saying I could be in astrophysics, but I did manage to do something difficult-ish in things that I was weak at, and I'm
Mm.
proud of myself for sticking with it and doing it, kind of, yeah. There you go, another life lesson. But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's really insightful. And I often keep this quote in my mind that after 100 years, nothing is gonna get, it's nothing is gonna matter. So I always
Mm.
like, if I feel like I'm too worried, I think from that perspective, and it helps me a lot.
Mm. Yeah, it's really, really true. And yeah, and also just the things of, okay, if we came at the technicalities of that job, but 1 second or 2 or 3 seconds out is not that big
Mm.
it's yeah, certainly it's not like it's operating on someone doing heart surgery or something. It's not,
Yeah,
it's just
true.
TV. It doesn't
We are
matter.
not we are not creating, rockets. So sometimes it's
Mm,
okay to chill out.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
In the context of that, Jackie, what do you like to do to chill out? I guess.
Oh, do you know what I like to do? It's I call it extreme reading, although this time of year it isn't extreme. Um, Basically, I love to read in the garden. I
Okay.
love to read in the garden with a pot of tea. So I make myself a whole pot of tea and then I get a book and I read. I also just sit and listen to the birds, listen to the insects buzzing around and things. But the reason I call it extreme reading is I even do it in winter. I will wrap up, I will wear like three cardigans, a scarf, a hat, blanket on my knees. I will still read. If it's raining, I will carefully balance an umbrella on my lap while holding tea, while holding a book, which is quite hard, actually. It's a bit problematic. I bought myself a tarpaulin the other day to help with that, but I love it. I just really love it. I also like things like sewing and
Mm.
crochet. I'm not very good at it. I just like making things. I just crafty things, drawing. I don't know. Mainly through the reading, I must confess. That's my real love. Yeah.
Nice. And what sort of books, Jackie?
Do you know what? I love loads of things. At the moment, I mean, I always used to read only fiction. I only used to read fiction, but these days I do still read fiction and love fiction. Um, all sorts, any type. I'm quite drawn to negative, depressing books, which is a bit silly, really, but they just interest me.
And
But
those
I've
are
also,
the names of those books.
yeah. So, example, did you say? Sorry, yeah. Oh. Do you know what examples? There's one called Sleepers, by Lorenzo Carcaterra, and it's so depressing. It's really, really, it's unbelievably good.
Sleepers.
Sleepers by Lorenzo Carcaterra. It was turned into a film, I believe, with Kevin Bacon. It's basically about some kids who were abused when in not prison, but prison for children kind of thing. Uh, oh, very, very good. Horrible, but very good. Um, so I quite like that kind of stuff. But recently as well, I've got really into non-fiction, what I think of as reportage, which I'd love to write one day, which is sort of in-depth journalistic non-fiction, or also just non-fiction. I think I'm very interested in people. Um, so yeah, so that kind of book, like finding out about people's lives or reporters who've been to war zones writing about what it's like, or but just not just that, any in-depth exploration of life and people I do like, and travel writing as well, quite like. So yeah, but I'm quite eclectic, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay. And like you said, I googled it that Sleeper
Hmm.
is like a movie also starring Brad Pitt and Robert De Niro.
I couldn't remember who was in it, but I knew it would be in a film. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. I've never watched the film, but I loved the book. I just randomly came across it. I actually I judge a book by its cover, because I literally do, because I don't like to know anything at all about it in advance. I don't like anything, not even what it's about. I don't like even the remotest spoiler. So I
Okay.
just looked at it, went, huh? And then just picked it up from a charity shop and went, that'll do.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Yeah, amazing.
What about other books apart from this, like kind of like this book? Have you read any other books that you can share with?
Other books I'd recommend. I mean, I really the book I always say I really love is William Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury. So that's very, very good. I mean, that sort of inspired, well, not inspired writer, but I love the style of Faulkner's writing. He was a beautiful, beautiful writer. His words were poetry, not just
Hmm.
prose, you know. Um,
Like
and
this
there's a
one,
kind of
44 pages, The Sound of the
yes,
Poet.
The Sound and the Fury. Yes, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. And yeah, that actually the tone of that, the kind of Gothic tone inspired, like Southern Gothic inspired my novel. So that's kind of or it influenced it definitely. I
Sorry
also
for interruption, Jackie. What's your novel? I'll also Google that.
oh look that up. So it's writer. It's called just Writer, and my author name is I'll just show this again. JM, and then Burgoyne, Burgoyne. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this one, the writers, it's about dealing with pain, to be honest. But from the point of view of an evil vampiric typewriter that grants wishes. Well, not from the point of view, via the mechanism of an evil vampiric typewriter that grants wishes.
Mhm.
As you do. Just yeah. Things like as well, things like so a lot of the books I'd recommend because I studied American literature. So you'll hear a lot of American ones though, like Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston was very good. Their Eyes Are Watching God. So that's another one. I mean, I say very good. That's another one I like, really, really like. I also really like books that make you think and make you that are almost slightly philosophical. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not to dismiss plot. I love the ones that are about some kind of something philosophical. Like,
Okay.
so the novel you probably have heard of the film Blade Runner.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, Harrison
but
Ford.
yeah, but the novel that comes from, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by, oh, I've forgotten. Anyway, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. I read it and I just thought this is what books should be. This is what for me, this is what fiction should be. It makes you think. I mean, it's quite a these days it's quite an old thing to think about what makes us human. I suppose it has been for years, but that's kind of what Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is about. It's this idea of this guy who doesn't know if he's an android or not. And
Oh,
his aim in life is this. Okay, this I haven't read it for ages, but this is my vague memory of the book anyway. Is that it begins with this idea of this guy is trying to earn enough money to be able to own a pet sheep, an electric pet sheep, and it's this question of if you were a robot, would you have that kind of aspirations? Do androids dream of electric sheep? And it's like, yeah, what is it that makes you human? Is it wanting more than you need? I don't know. Um, Not that I think it's a good thing to want more than you need, but it's what is that thing that us, uh, makes us sentient or whatever you'd call it. So I do love that kind of book, I guess. Yeah.
wow, nice. And Jackie, a hypothetical question for you. If today was your last day, what would you do?
Do you know what? This is the okay. Hang on, what would I do? I was gonna say I'd go read in the garden. Um, but actually what would I do? I would probably get as many of my friends and family together as I could in my mum's garden and have a barbecue. Just a few drinks and play games together, play board games and tennis and I don't know, just hang out.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. And if you had like more than 24 hours, let's say 48 hours in a day, then what would you like to do in your spare time, extra time,
Ooh.
apart from reading books in the garden?
Apart from reading books in the garden, are you sure I can't just read a bit more? No, do you know what I'd probably like to do is clean the house a bit more.
Okay,
I know
that,
that's,
that's
I
also
mean,
a
not,
recreating thing. I do that. I clean my room
yeah,
like once in a blue moon, although my
yeah,
mom tells me to do it regularly, but I do
yeah.
that.
I mean, I wouldn't obviously spend the whole extra 24 hours doing that, but a bit more time to get rid of some of the dust. Because at the moment, it's like low on my priority list. It's sort of, you
Hmm.
know,
Organizing stuff.
work, fun, blah, 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 cleaning is right at the bottom. But I would also see my friends more. I would go for walks with my friends. So a combination of being in nature and hanging out with my friends and my family more. I think that's what I'd do if I had twice as much time. I'd also like to fold England so that all my friends are closer and my mum and my family are closer. Just England's not that big, but still,
Yeah.
it would be nice. Yeah.
And one more question, Jackie. Like, would you live more in the past, in the present, or in the future?
So do I or would I?
Like, no, like, do you, as of now, do you live more in the past, present, or future?
I definitely am very weighed down by the past, I suppose. I often chew over things where I go, do you remember when you were, I don't know, I think you know when you're sad anyway, and then your brain goes, remember all those other times that you were sad? Let's just like throw them on you, like, why am I doing this? I do have a tendency to, I mean, I do enjoy things at the time, but then I do have a tendency after something's fun has happened to feel sad that it's over. Um, I think I have a, I think I don't know whether it's partly an awareness of, we're all going to die, so it's getting a bit mopey. But I think time running out maybe, or I think I always feel a loss for things in the past, a sense of loss. But I also, like I say, I am also excited by the future and the time, the things you can do. These hours, there's not many of them, but just think what you can do in them if you, as long as you don't have to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Wow. And what do you do when you are, feeling down in the dumps, like you said, and you have to work? There are no alternatives of it. So, like, I'm not sure. Are you into coffee, tea?
Oh, well, I'm a tea person. I definitely am a tea person. I was actually very excited the other day because I discovered that you can grow tea in the UK. Oh, didn't know that. So I now have 4 tea bushes in my garden,
Wow.
from which I presume I'll be able to make a thimbleful of tea a year, probably. But very excited about that. I do have a bad tendency to go shopping. I go shopping these days in charity shops. So it's at least reusing and it's cheaper, but it's also not consuming, it's better for the planet and it's
Hmm.
giving money to charities and things. So
Two birds
I
with a
did, sorry.
hitting two birds with a stone, I guess.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And so I do that, but I do have a tendency to cheer myself up by buying stuff. So my poor housemate, I'm constantly coming home with like, he's like, we don't need that. So yeah, even today I came back with 3 notebooks from a charity shop. Brilliant. I always need notebooks as a tutee. A banana tree. And I don't know if they're banana trees, those things you hang bananas off. I can't remember what they're
Yeah,
called. Anyway.
yeah.
Uh, a weird grater thing, which I gave to him because when I was on holiday, my cat escaped and he had to wrestle her into her cat cage and she might have shredded him. So, as an apology and a thanks, I gave him a grater because I thought that was quite funny because she sort of grated him and he gets a grater. What else did I come back with? Some flower pots, some like collapsible flower pots. So, good haul today. But yeah.
Wow. Even I do that. Like, all of a sudden,
Mm.
if I feel like like I'm into t-shirts, I buy a lot of graphic t-shirts. So that's what I do without any reason. I
Mm.
Shopping is kind of a therapeutic, so I tend to do that.
Yeah. And it's bad because we shouldn't, should we? And I mean, like, well, I think, I don't know. I certainly, at some point, if I ever go missing, it's because I'm trapped in my house, surrounded by all the random stuff I've bought. I'm just going to be, at some point, there'll just be my head showing through this kind of pile of stuff. Um, so it's possible I should do something different, like go for a jog or something instead. But currently, I shop or I drink tea. Yeah. Or eat chocolate. There you go.
Okay. Wow. Nice. And I guess speaking of job, whenever you feel like you want to take a yoga class again, I'm stressing this thing. Just drop me a message.
Thank you. I will. I will.
And I guess the Zoom meeting is compelling us to end it. Jack,
Mm.
I won't hold you any longer. And to be honest, I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of it. I didn't even
Me
blink
too.
an eye. Like, it was that much, intriguing to have a conversation with you. You are such a vivacious person.
Oh, thank you. I loved chatting to you. Thank you very much. So,
Guys,
yeah,
And I hope that
Anyway,
this is not our last time. We'll keep on doing this
oh,
whenever we both are free. Schedule meet. Okay.
definitely, definitely would be lovely. Anyway, have a lovely evening, afternoon. What time is it for you?
I'm gonna hit the hay.
Okay, sorry. Have a
Say
lovely
what
night.
PM.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care. Take care,
You
Jack.
too.
Thanks.
Bye, bye.